Hey juniors, this is video 0.4 where I'm going to try to show you how to make the most of Khan Academy this year. So let's dive on in. Um, First thing I should say before I share my screen, I love Khan Academy. I'm a better mathematician because of Khan Academy. I know calculus right now, and it's because of Khan Academy. So I can't recommend it enough as a tool. If you're not a huge fan, I really challenge you to shift your mindset because we're going to use it a lot this year. And if used correctly, I think you'll find it as a really valuable learning tool. So let me share my screen. And let's imagine you're just trying to log on to Khan Academy. So you can go to khanacademy.org because it's an organization. Now, if you're like me, you have it saved with your Gmail account, so it should log you straight in. If not, just make sure you log in with your Pritzker Gmail account. Now, when you log in, you're usually brought to your learner homepage. If you're not brought here, then just click on the Khan Academy button, and it'll bring you here. You can also, I'm going to move myself out of the way, click on your name and hit Learner Home, and it'll also redirect you here. Your name has a few features. It has notifications, so if you get new assignments, they should all pop up here. It also gives you little like congratulations. Trying to keep this video somewhat short. And then you can click back to see all of your options here. Now, in your learner home, you can see for like my calculus class, I don't have any assignments for me in my student account. Make sure you hit on past. This will happen sometimes this year where you look at your account and say, oh, I have nothing to do, but check on your past assignments. Maybe you missed some stuff and you can see that I have some late stuff that I need to do. You'll be able to retake almost everything for full credit, but you have to put the work in. So check your past tab to see if you have stuff that you still can do. Now, if you go to our class right here, here's your summer homework assignments that are due today at 6 p.m. So your active assignments are just ones that have a later due date. But again, if you miss stuff, click on the past. I want to show you a little overview of all what Khan Academy has to offer. It's not just math support. It can actually be helpful for all your classes this year. It has all main subjects for all courses. So you can lean on it. Even if your class isn't using that tool, you can still lean on it for help. One thing I want to show off is just how courses are set up. And actually, before I do that, let's say you're struggling with an assignment. You're like, okay, I want help solving, graphing and solving linear inequalities. You can just search in Khan Academy and all the stuff that pertains to that search will pop up. So you'll see when this loads, I have a video I can watch on it. I have another video that's related. I have some practice I can do. I have another practice. So it'll generate all the stuff you want for that. And I could say, I don't know, US Constitution. If I have something coming up in history and I want some support there, I can search that, and Khan Academy will generate everything it has on US Constitution. So related stuff, videos, practice, etc. So use that tool if it's helpful and if you need a certain support. Now, I want to show you how each course is organized. We're going to use Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and some pre-algebra all throughout this course. If I click into Algebra 1, what you're basically seeing here is an online textbook. Like each of those courses are their own textbook, and just like a textbook, they're organized into little chapters. So here's chapter 1, the first rectangle you see is chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, so on and so forth. So every course is organized just like a textbook, it's just online. If I click into this chapter 1 on Algebra Foundations, the way that every single chapter is organized is, to my knowledge, the same. So what you'll see on the left side is ways you can learn. So you'll have videos, you'll have articles that you can do. The great thing about articles is they're kind of a mixture of video notes mixed with practice. So for every article that you read, it'll have important definitions. I scroll down, it'll give you examples. And what's really cool is it'll let you practice right away as well. So like I shouldn't do this as a student if I'm actually gonna learn from it. I should take my time. But then I'll get to practice and I can say, okay, when I evaluate, that just means plug in. So 9 minus 4 is 5, I can check. And I got that right. And I have all these other questions. So I can just hit next question and just keep getting a lot of practice. So articles are great because they're basically practice meets notes. So whenever you have an article, make sure you use both those features. Take notes on it, read all the words really carefully, and then do all of the practice problems as well. See, on the left side, we have all these things to learn. On the right side, you have practice. And it's labeled as such. If it's on the right side here, usually practices have between 4 and 7 questions, usually just 4 questions, and they're very targeted. They're over one specific thing. As you scroll on down, we have more videos, the little rectangles, an article, more practice, and then you get to a quiz. Quizzes are great because they're just testing you on more information. And quizzes will always test you on the information that came right above. So like this is, the rectangles in the courses are like, this is one objective, here's another objective, the introduction to variables, Here's another objective, substitution and evaluating expressions. And this quiz will be over those 3 objectives, all the stuff that came before. So that's how each unit's organized. And then it kind of repeats. So now I have more learning, more practice, and quiz. And the quiz is over all the stuff that came between this quiz 1 and quiz 2. So it'll be over these 2 objectives, intro to equivalent expressions and combining like terms. Now, every single unit also has a unit test, which is great because it'll cover all of your stuff to see if you really know it. And if you do the quizzes and the practices, those exercises well, usually those same questions appear on the unit test. So you already have a little bit of a preview. If not the same questions, very similar questions. But this will test all the stuff from a certain course, or a certain unit rather. And every course is set up that way. So Algebra 1, if I like the courses, geometry, Algebra 2, trigonometry, pre-calculus, all those stuff are basically textbooks just online. And then they all have units and chapters like a textbook, and they have practice built in. The last thing I want to highlight is just one example. I don't think we will have showed you all this just yet, but we're going to talk a lot about our Algebra 2 learning playlist. It's going to be really central to how we learn Algebra 2 this year. But if I click on one of the first exercise, come on computer, that you all are going to do, they're all hyperlinked, and we'll show you how to use that this year. And I'm going to pull up this Khan Academy exercise to give you just one example of whenever you actually are doing the practice and the learning, how to make the most of these exercises, like how to use it to your advantage so you really get it. You're going to get infinite practice on all this stuff. My big encouragement is that you try to get 100 on your very first time, and then just be willing to put the work in to really get, to fully understand and get 100 on next attempts. Don't just randomly guess your way through, because you can get lucky, because a lot of it is a level of multiple choice. But if you do that, you're not really learning. So fight that urge just to take the shortcut to learning, like take the time to really master all the stuff. Okay, so once this pops up, I'll do a few questions to kind of demonstrate how you can make Khan Academy work for you and really help you with your learning. This is the first exercise you're all going to do. It's asking me which of the following phrases are inequalities. And this is an inequality because it has an inequality sign. This is an inequality because it also has that, and these are all inequalities. And it said choose 3 answers, so sweet. Now, even when I get it right, I couldn't encourage you enough to always click on see step by step, because sometimes you get it right, but you guess. What's great about the explanations is it'll make sure that what you were thinking was actually right. And then additionally, it gives you some really good notes. Like it says an inequality is a statement that shows 2 expressions that are not equal. An inequality contains a greater than or lesser or less than sign. So now I have notes I can put into my notes, which you should take notes on all of these, and we'll talk about that in the next video. But not only did it confirm that I got it right and why, but it also gives me some notes I can add just for personal knowledge. So I'm gonna go to the next question. It's saying identify whether each phrase is an expression, equation, or inequality. Well, this is an inequality based on that last question. That's an equation because it has an equal sign. This is an expression, so I think I got it. So I'll hit that, but I won't hit next. So get out of that habit if you have that habit. Always come over and say step by step. And sometimes you'll read it and you'll be like, sweet, that's exactly what I thought, and it just confirms that you're right. Other times it'll give you great notes, like this defines what an inequality is again. This defines what an expression is. It's just a math sentence that has numbers, variables, and operations. And then this defines what an equation is, has to have an equal sign. It's a statement that shows 2 expressions are equal. So not only does it confirm that you got it right, but now it gives you more learning you can add to your notes. Next question. Okay, which of these phrases, which of the following phrases are expressions? So I'm going to miss this one. I'm going to say, okay, this is expression, and expression, and an expression. So I'm going to hit check, and I got it wrong. Now it'll tell me on this one that this is right, but this one is not right. The last thing, like never do this, don't click move on. It's absolutely not the way to learn. You can do 2 things. You can say, use a hint, and it'll just show you a video you can watch. If you say get hint, it'll show you the first part. If you click on the get help, it'll show you all the steps. So an expression is just a sentence that has numbers, variables, and operations. And I chose the inequality one, so that's not right. So I'm going to choose E now and hit check again. And now I got it right, because those are the 3 expressions. So if you miss one, don't panic, just like go learn from it. And if you do that, when you retake it, it'll be a lot easier the next time. And last one, that's an equation, that's an inequality. I think I got it right, but even just to make sure, I'll check, and cool, that's what I thought. Okay, and I'm done. So you should do this, I'm gonna stop sharing. You should do that for every practice, every quiz, every unit test, same thing, where you're using Khan Academy to maximize your learning. If you have any questions, please ask during class, send your teachers an email, or contact us via Remind. But yeah, thanks for watching along.